So why do we need D&O insurance? Of course, even with board's best efforts, their actions can lead to potential lawsuits alleging breach of contract, breach of fiduciary duty, employment or housing discrimination, slander or libel, or a host of many other potential claims. Lawsuits can seek monetary or non-monetary relief, and a good D&O policy will cover both. But as I mentioned in the very beginning, we've got two main types of D&O coverage. We've got the endorsed coverage, and we've got our separate standalone policy too. There's pros and cons to both, and depending on what your objective is, it kind of depends on what shoe is going to fit best for you. An endorsement is going to actually be the least expensive way to provide D&O. And kind of funny, I don't really like the way that I explain that they're the least expensive way to provide D&O coverage, because the thing is that the endorsement, while yes, on the front end, it may be less expensive, on the back end, if there's not coverage for something, then you're going to be paying for that endorsement, and then it may not cover everything either, because as you can see on the other bullets that are listed there, the coverage is attached to the general liability, but it excludes third-party discrimination, non-monetary claims, and many other things. So that's why, as you see there in the last bullet point, I like to refer to it as covering from A to C. The separate standalone policy is going to cover us more so from A to Z. It's going to be more expensive on the front end, but on the back end, in my opinion, it's more important to have a guaranteed cost up front and know that if a claim occurs and it's something that could potentially be covered some way under the sun, this standalone policy, the right standalone policy, should cover you. And that's why I say, it's a guaranteed cost, and it is more expensive up front, but in the long run, it's all about the value, and you get what you pay for. So this full separate policy is actually a separate policy from the general liability, but it's going to include coverage for third-party discrimination. It's going to include coverage for non-monetary claims, defense for breach of contract, employment practices. It's going to cover your property manager in association with their duty to you all and your community. There's even, with the right policies, you've even got a lifetime occurrence reporting provision. So what that means is that, let's say that tomorrow that you all decide, you know what, I'm done with this board stuff. I can't do it anymore. Too much for me. Takes up too much of my time, whatever it is. And 3 weeks down the road, there's a claim that comes in for something that occurred, or a decision or action or inaction or indecision that was made while you were on the board. Well, now that you're no longer a board member anymore, if somebody sues the board and the association, you may not have coverage there. But the thing is that this lifetime occurrence reporting provision allows coverage for even once you're no longer a board member anymore. So if, later on down the road in the future, when you're not a board member, somebody sues the association for something that occurred while you were a board member, that full separate policy, when written the right way, is going to provide coverage for you, even though you're no longer a board member. And that's really important. So again, endorsement covers A to C. The separate standalone policy is going to cover you from A to Z.